Hi, Tanja here and welcome to TMJ TV, a weekly video series dedicated to real estate leaders and teams that want to grow themselves and their people in the least amount of time. And someone that has spent most of their time making a difference to the industry is my next guest. He is the founder of one of Australia's greatest real estate brands, Mcgrath. He's also the founder of the world's second biggest real estate conference on the planet, which is ARIC. He was a shark on Shark Tank, which was a television show dedicated to fueling the entrepreneurial dreams of ordinary Aussies, and is an extraordinary leader himself.
Thanks,
John
Tanja.
Mcgrath, thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, that's a very nice introduction. Thank
for
you.
the opportunity to spend some time with you. I feel
Pleasure.
like I'm gate crashing your party because this is the 20th anniversary and there's 4,500 people in that room learning from the best.
It's been a great event. I mean, I think ARIC, we're talking about leadership and personal development. ARIC has really given a lot of Australians access to what's happening around the globe, which is how it started, because I went overseas and I was exposed personally to such incredible insights and technology and strategies from a lot of the overseas people that I was connecting with. I wanted to bring that back to the Australian industry, so it sort of started with 200 people in a room 2 decades ago, and we've just got 4,500 next door, so it's been great.
Was it always your vision for this to just be never ending? Or?
Well, it's funny, it happened by happenstance. The first one, when I brought half a dozen overseas American speakers across, I actually was intending it to be a fairly small boutique group, and then I got the bill for all the airfares and the accommodation. I thought, wow, this is going to send me broke. So I actually started by just ringing around the industry, some of my colleagues, and said, look, do you want to send some people along? And we split the bill. So I guess, like a lot of things, it kind of happens almost by luck or chance, but then you feel something is growing, and then we went from 200 to 400 people, and then over a short period of time went out 4,500. So I think it's a bit the same as my business. When I started, I just wanted to be the best that I could be, and I wanted to have a little office that was the best it could be. And then, if you do things well over time, then momentum grows and demand grows, and you have a choice. You either expand and service the demand, or do you stay small? Some people choose to stay small, which is fine. I felt that I wanted to expand the business to meet the demand. So, we've now got 100 offices, not one, but that wasn't necessarily my plan when I started. Plans and visions and dreams evolve as the people evolve, but I do think you have to start by thinking big. So your future is connected to what is your current thinking about where you can take your business, and then it's just a matter of who do you have to become to take it there, and then what do you have to do? You have to grow into the person that's capable of executing the plan, because along the way there's going to be dead ends, there's going to be challenges, there's going to be a whole range of things. And as a leader, you have to be able to sort of cut through those things and keep going in the hard times. And I remember in my own personal experience, many times, well not many, but a number of times over the years, you kind of feel like, is it worth it? This is getting really hard. It was easy when I was small. Do I have to think that big? Do I really want to stretch the business? And these are all decision points. And I guess you either decide, yes, I'm going to grow through this and I'm going to grow above it, or I'm going to stay here.
You've definitely set a huge benchmark for people to achieve extraordinary standards and deliver great service, not only to the end user, being consumers, but also the internal team. Yet you're extremely humble, something I also admire about you. You don't take yourself too seriously, but you're serious about making a difference. How do you still deliver those standards, yet stay grounded? Because there's a big gap in between where the people have to fulfill delivering on the actions. How do you do that?
Well, thank you. Look, I think if I can cover the sort of unpack them into 2 points. So humility for me, I see success without humility is not really success. And you see it all the time, that people that have done exceptionally well in whatever field they choose, but even let's say real estate, and yet they start believing their own press releases and they start thinking they're better, and you think, wow. What a pity, because really we're all the same. Whether you're writing 100,000 GCI or 5 million, no one's better or worse. Someone's just doing better numbers. Doesn't mean you're a better human being.
Agreed. And
it's a bit like in the marketplace. For me, whether you're a tenant renting a $200 a week apartment or whether you're the owner of a $200 million commercial building, no one should be treated less well. Everyone's important. So I think if that's part of your DNA and your compass, it's easy, because, and then if you surround yourself with the right people, because the right people will tell you when you're starting to not be true to your value of humility.
So
I think that's really important, and I don't think success is success unless it's attached to humility. think standards are incredibly important. If you, years ago I went to a Tony Robbins conference, probably 20 odd years ago, something that rang in my ears. He said, if you want to change your life, raise your standards.
Yeah.
And it's a simple statement, and it's true, and it works. Everything you do, take it up a notch, and then keep taking it up a notch. So whether that's the way you present your business, the quality of the people that you hire, the quality of the events that you run, the sort of coffee you serve in your office, everything associated with your personal brand and your business's brand and the way you do business should be on a never-ending spiral upwards. That's the challenge of leadership, is to be able to maintain and apply rigorous expectation around the standards. From time to time, something doesn't go the way we would expect or the customer expected. Sure. But we deal with it, and you grow as a business, and then you put in systems. So you say, okay, how did that screw up? A, you've got to fix it. And then B is you've got to say, what can we do so it won't happen again, or it's less likely to happen again?
Yeah.
So I think in terms of leadership, it's about taking responsibility. Humility, standards are really key points for leaders.
In my humble opinion, if we're not making mistakes, we're not playing hard enough. You know, we're not taking a risk, we're not pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and so there's going to be growing pains. And leaders that kind of point the finger and go, well, that was wrong, really erode the level of trust that they have with their people. A philosophy I have around that is, if all leaders kind of come from the place of everyone's working with the best intentions, they don't come in to actually create a negative experience.
No one's perfect. We all can screw up from time to time, but do you own it, and will you fix it is the most important thing.
You had a vision, and then every time you went to grow, you knew you had a choice. I either stay here and be happy here. It seems like you were fueled by a future that was calling for greater than now. By the sounds of it.
We only live one life, I suspect.
Yeah.
Some people think differently, but let's assume we live one life. You want to give it, I think, all you've got. Now, for different people, that will be something different. Some people want to build empires. Some people just want to kind of have a different existence. But for me, is I enjoy working with people. I enjoy coaching people. I enjoy serving customers. And the more customers I can serve, and team members and franchisees and agents that I can help, the better. So, you know, I want to leave a legacy, and I think that, you know, if you can touch more people and make the world better for people, that's a better legacy than just doing it to a small number. So,
sure. You are definitely seen. Many people call you the godfather of real estate,
well,
which I know.
Makes me sound even older than I am.
It's a big statement, and I think that's just coming from respect for, you know, what you do to contribute to the evolution of this industry. Who inspires you? So what leader from any industry, anywhere, really inspires you?
I guess, you know, the initial inspiration for me was the late Steve Jobs. You know, I looked at what Jobs did, started from his backyard. He had a big vision. He saw the opportunity. He recognised that things like design, he was just a great inspiration for me. And, you know, I look at what Barack Obama, you know, I look at him and I think, wow, what an incredible, the first black president, an inspiring leader. And sure, he came in at a very challenging time, and he's had his critics. You come from the point of, you know, what was his intent, and what was, you know, how did it feel? And when you listened to him, you knew he was coming from a great place. That's what leadership's about, is what is your intent, how well do you communicate it, and can you get people to follow you? And I think Obama, great intent, communicated it clearly, and he actually got people out of their chairs to vote, out of their chairs to try and do something, and you know, he came in at a very tough time in the economy.
We have recently just partnered with CoreLogic Australia to hack into the current state of leadership, particularly in the real estate industry, and I know you said one of the things that's most important to you from what you think leaders and teams watching this could focus on is change and embracing change. What would you like to say about
Well, yeah, we just had a great speaker downstairs at Eric Henry Mason, and he's talking about what's happening around the world in different industries, and if it's happening in other industries, it's going to happen in real estate sooner than later.
Yeah.
If it's happening in Uber and Airbnb, it's going to be happening in real estate. And people's expectations, and as he started, he said, it's no longer about, you know, your competitors, it's about, why isn't your service as good as Singapore Airlines?
Yes.
Why doesn't Uber arrives in 2 minutes? Why does it take me 24 hours to get a contract from you in real estate? So people's expectations are being reset by a whole range of service experiences which are rapidly improving. You know, the average age of most real estate principals in this country is probably 50 plus.
It is. Well, according to this, it is, yeah.
So you look at that and you say, well, therefore, this is not the kind of, you know, Gen X, Y, you know, young up and coming, grew up with a computer on my desk. These are people that didn't grow up in that way. And I think that therefore change is probably harder for this industry than some other younger industries like marketing and technology and so forth. So I think as a principal, you've got to challenge yourself every day. You know, what are the trends? How good are you at keeping abreast of them? Every month I want to get what's happening around the world, and you know, if you can get someone to serve it up and you can pay them for it, I think that's a pretty good deal.
Yes, yeah.
So I think that's really important, is your ability to be on top of the trends, then think about not, well, that's what Uber are doing. Well, if Uber's doing that, how can I apply that to real estate? A lot of people that are 55 are employing 25-year-olds. What are they expecting in terms of the internal customer experience?
Sure.
So once upon a time, someone got a job and stayed there until they retired. They got a golden handshake and they retired at 65.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people are never retiring. They'll only stay as long as they think they're growing and they're getting great service from you. They're very mobile. They want flexibility. They want to be able to have, you know, sort of time off and start a family and a whole range of things and still dock into the workplace. So as an employer, you have to be ahead of the trends for your own internal customers as well as your external customers.
Sure.
If you give your internal customers 6-star service, the likelihood is they'll then pass that on.
Yeah, there's a ripple effect. You and your team at Tread have done a remarkable job delivering time after time, year after year for 20 years, an extraordinary opportunity for us to all learn and grow, so thank you.
My pleasure.
What's next on your bucket list for yourself?
Much the same. I mean, you know, we've got 100 offices now and we want to grow that number and we want to move to new markets, but more importantly, we want to improve the service. As we just said, we're offering our internal customers as well as our external customers. So events like this are just as good a punctuation point for me and my management team to think about the business. So you have to take time out of your busy week and you've got to stop and think from time to time. Are we on track? What are the next priorities? What are the changes that are happening and how do we bring them into our business, then communicate them? I guess I see my role as a bit like a creative director. It's about what are the trends, what's the brand, what do we want to represent, you know, what's our direction, and I'm working with our management team to execute all that. I was speaking yesterday to Leonard Steinberg, who gave the last speech yesterday afternoon, a brilliant guy, and he's one of the best agents in America. You know, he was saying to me he does which is a brilliant idea, he does a daily memo to all the staff at
That was the first thing you said. What did he say? It was like a consideration, not words of genius, just something that's there for him to share.
What's happening in the market, what are his insights, what are his observations. It's a daily. Now, I would say most principals don't even do that once a year. But what is your method of communicating to your team? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? You know, if you're a principal and you go to ARIC, when you go back to the team, most of the other people probably weren't at ARIC. So what are you going to share with them? Can you summarise on the plane going back? And then distribute and say, guys, here are 5 trends that I picked up. Now, you know, give us some input. How do you think we can bring these into the workplace? What
is on John Mcgrath's to-do list within the next 24 hours after attending ARIC? Well,
we've got a boot camp tomorrow, but after that, so that'll be, you know, we have Tom Panos and I have some people come and we're going to kind of really go through an implementation strategy. For me, I'm just going through my notes each day and I'm asterisking the key things, and then I'll kind of do a sub-list of the asterisk, and I'll do a sub-list of the major ones, and then exactly the same as I've said, you know, when I get back to our team that couldn't make it here and with our management team, debrief and say, what were the key trends, what are we going to do about them? So it's all about curation, because, you know, if you sat through here for 2 days and 20 odd speakers, you're going to potentially end up with 2 or 3 pages of notes for each speaker, which is 40 or 50 pages, which is great because it washes over you, but what are the 3 or 4 priorities that you're going to do? So for me, it'll be about curating the best ideas and then working out an implementation plan.
Beautiful. Well, we look forward to more learning
Pleasure. I look
from
forward
ARIC.
to it as
Thank
well.
you to you and your great team.
Thank you for this great presentation and
you're welcome.
information. I'm going to look forward to reading it.
Thanks, John. Thanks again. Thank you, John.